Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, The Crafty Creole. Today I will be showing you how to thread a bobbin, how to thread the sewing machine, and how to sew for beginners. We'll be using the Singer 4411 to demonstrate these things. But most machines are pretty much the same, so yours should not differ by much. Let's get started. Here I will be demonstrating how to thread a bobbin. As you can see, most machines have markings on top that show you what direction to go in. The bobbin has a small hole at the top that you'll need to pass the thread through. This can be a little tricky sometimes, especially if your nails are getting too long like mine. So you're going to leave a long piece out through that hole. And now you're using your foot pedal just to spin a little thread to get it started before cutting the top thread off. Now we're really ready to go. Just pop the plate off the top of your bobbin holder. Sometimes mine gets stuck there. And we're going to always make sure that our bobbin goes in so that when you pull the thread, it's spinning counterclockwise. And leave a little piece of thread outside and replace the cap. I actually pulled a little too much thread out. I think it just makes it a little bit harder when it's time to pull the bobbin thread back up. And now we're back on top, so we can just go ahead and thread the machine. As you can see, there's a nice guide there for you. And over to your far right, I'm pointing to your wheel that's going to lift your needle to its highest position, which also lifts that little catch up to its highest position so that it's easy to thread, and you got your thread right through there. Perfect. And like I said in the beginning, almost every sewing machine is pretty much the same. It's pretty basic unless you have an industrial machine. Now right here you want to make sure to, oh, that's another good reminder. Anytime you're threading the machine, always have your foot up. But once you get that low, then you can have it down. And as you can see, I think the thread has gone through. I always have a pair of tweezers around handy, just because it's easier to pull it all the way through with my long nails. And always have, okay, so now we're using the handle to put the needle down, and we're turning the handle towards us because that brings up the bobbin thread. Now the bobbin thread and the top thread needle are both together. We'll place them right down the middle of the open part of the presser foot. Okay, and we're ready to sew. Always start sewing with your needle in the down position. This just helps so that your thread or your fabric won't get caught. And now I'm pointing to the back needle button. You want to hold that reverse button down and reverse at least 2 stitches back to secure your stitch. And at the end. Now I'm about to show you a reverse stitch, 2 stitches back to secure the end. But we're going to do a pivot, so we're going to raise the presser foot, turn the fabric all the way around, presser foot back down, two stitches back, secure the edge. So that made a pretty nice stitch, I think. Very secure, nice tight stitch. This was just some jean fabric I had lying around. That was good for using as a sample. My top thread is white and my bottom thread is red, and kind of did that on purpose just so that you would be able to see that the bobbin thread is red. So if you ever have problems with your stitches and you don't know what's causing the problem, if you change the color of either the bobbin or the top, it just kind of will help you to figure out what's going on. Now here I drew a round circle on a piece of fabric, and this is just an example of what you should be practicing, what will really help you if you're a beginner sewer. So I'm going to sew on the circle. And again, always starting with your needle position down before you start sewing. And if you have to sew in a circle or curve or any type of project where you're a little nervous about it, just remember to go slow. You set the pace. It's what you feel comfortable with. And if you're doing a circle, you definitely want to take your time and slow down. Now I used a chalk, tailor's chalk, to make that circle on the fabric, and I suggest you do the same. If it's on scrap fabric, it doesn't really matter because you're just going to throw it away because it's just practice. So if you don't have tailor's chalk, you could use even an ink pen on fabric or something, or a pencil on a lighter fabric. Because I just want to make sure that you're practicing enough until you're comfortable so that you will be ready for our first sew along, because we will be making a shift. Now please notice that the sewing machine does most of the work. The presser foot is keeping the fabric down, and underneath that presser foot it's called a feed rod. It's gripping the fabric, and even though I'm using my hands a lot right now, in a second I'm going to demonstrate and show you how I can do this with only 2 fingers. There we go. I only have 2 fingers on the fabric because, like I said, the sewing machine does most of the work. You're just going to hold it still and get comfortable with your sewing machine, especially if it's a new sewing machine, so that once you start your project, you have a feel for things. And there you go. Just remember, guys, practice makes perfect. And that's it for today's tutorial. So get practicing and be ready for our sew along.